What up, Salvador Brigman here. Welcome back to the Crowdfunding Demystified YouTube channel. On this video, we're talking about how to get media attention and media hits for your business. But on this channel, we talk about way more than just that. We really get into how to reach your full potential as a business owner, as a creator, as someone who's trying to change the world, ethically dominate an entire niche or entire segment, and really being able to impact the world for the positive. So we talk a lot about that. We cover topics like crowdfunding, Kickstarter, Indiegogo, launching new products, doing digital marketing for your established business or your new business, e-commerce, etc. Go and check out some of the other videos I got out there and some of the podcasts I'm publishing on a weekly basis if you want to learn more about all of those topics and more. With that being said, let's get into this topic and really discover what you need to do if you want to get media attention for your business, and we're covering that in just a second. All right, man, wherever you are in the world, wherever you're hailing in from, I hope that you're taking religious action towards your goals, that you're showing up every single week, plowing forward, moving forward, learning the things that you need to in order to get to where you want to go. And it is a beautiful day here in Miami, Florida, and I was just thinking back on my career and the fact that I feel so freaking lucky, man, to have gotten into many different media publications, being cited by publications like the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, CNN, Hypebot, Indiegogo's blog. One time I actually even had Playboy do a piece on me, and they're doing something like around crowdfunding for some reason. They ended up citing me as an expert in the industry. So there's so many different publications that I've been on, and I'm also lucky enough to have discovered a little bit of a secret when it comes to getting media attention. So when I first kind of discovered this, it's almost like you struck gold, right? Because when you realize that there's almost like a formula which you can follow in order to get media hits, and you start to follow that and you start to see those results, it feels like you're kind of like a celebrity, but also feels like you know something like an inside trick. So in this video, I want to share a couple of those things which I've learned. There's actually a lot more that I'll be talking about, but I want to share that so no matter what kind of business you have, whether it's a service-based business, a larger business, a smaller business, or even you're selling online products of some kind, I want to get into that in just a second. So first of all, I want to classify 3 types of stories, okay? And there are a lot of different types of stories, specifically if you're doing something more like a charity related. There's a whole other archetype that I talk about in the GoFundMe cash machine when it comes to that kind of a story. I'm more so focused on businesses and people that are trying to actively sell products and services. So first of all, the first type of story is really just a journalist who's picking up a story because of a press release which they saw, or some kind of a news announcement which they saw being distributed, okay? That's really, if you think about it and really zoom out, these media publications are businesses as well. They are in the business of distributing news, but more importantly, of getting attention, of getting clicks, of covering trending topics, because that's again how they get people to actually click on that article, to go to the website, to read that, and they start to make some advertising revenue and advertising dollars from that attention and traffic. So they're always covering different trending events because they're trying to identify an audience that wants to read that story. And one of the ways to do that is with the newswire, right? Press releases and newswires are still in operation, are still something that many different companies will use to distribute news. So I would say the lowest hanging fruit is to do something like a press release if you're interested in getting into the media. However, it doesn't necessarily guarantee a pickup, but I virtually will tell you that every time I've done a press release, and you have to obviously invest in one, you're going to get some degree of pickup. The question is just who is actually picking up those news announcements. So it could be something maybe it's not as desirable, or it could be something where you're getting actually a bunch of different medium-sized blogs and medium-sized publications to read that press release and to reach out to you with a story. The most important thing here when it comes to the press release is your angle, the actual angle for the story, the media assets which you have, and why would someone be interested in writing about this? Why is this unique? Why is this interesting? Why is this a headline? In some way, is this connected to an event which is already happening in the world? Why is this something that is noteworthy? The second type of story is more of an expert style of story. And a lot of times you see different publications out there like Haro, H-A-R-O, Help Report It Out, where they will actually talk with experts who are looking for just to provide a quote or just to provide their expertise on a particular story. If you've ever been watching the news, I know they're kind of like outdated, it's like watching the actual physical news on television, right? You will have experts that come in for that panel and give their own thoughts and perspective on whatever issue is occurring. For example, like a legal expert or a technology expert or an expert on manufacturing, right? If you as a business owner have any kind of expertise or interesting intrigue, insights into a specific industry, you could always position yourself as an expert. And in that way, you could be cited in a major media publication. You can get media attention for your business that way by becoming not only an expert, but I would say more of like a thought leader, right? When it comes to the news media. The next type of story is when something is already getting a degree of pickup either via social media or from smaller blogs. So going back to what I said in point one, which is that the news, the media, the world of this, entertainment when it comes to the news and media and delivering that to you is a business. They want to write about proven subjects. They want to write about audiences that are already existing, right? They want a story which they can then bring to the audience, which gets that audience's attention and to go and check out their publication. So whenever a story is already getting a little bit of pickup via social media, already getting a little bit of pickup in terms of smaller blogs, I talk about this in my course. I have a free course out there on PR, which I'll talk about later. This is trading up the value chain, right? So you can actually start with some smaller media publications. If you don't have any urgency behind this, you can actually trade up to much larger publications. And because a story is building, because a topic is building, other publications are willing to write about this. So you can even start with local influencers or smaller publications or local media outlets, but start to actually build a story in some way, either around an announcement, around something that happened, or something that's more essentially going to benefit you and your business. Not gonna lie, this is a little bit Machiavellian, but it works. You can do this 100%, and it's really about this almost a snowball effect which is occurring. Sometimes that happens organically, sometimes it's also manufactured. Want to take all the stress out of fulfilling your Kickstarter rewards? Fulfillrite is the turnkey solution that puts product delivery on autopilot. The Top Campaigns uses trusted high-tech provider to store, package, and ship their products. Focus on growing your business. Leave shipping to the experts. Don't wait. Get a custom quote from Fulfillrite today. Link in the description. The next way is through direct connections and direct contacts. And typically this is really when like a PR agency typically will help out a business. So PR agencies may be starting around like 5K or thereabouts, right? When it comes to hiring a PR agency, this is really what they're paid for. Not only to come up with those angles and those stories and those press releases and those media assets and those kinds of things, but also actually conduct that outreach on your behalf. So they might also have different strategies when it comes to, some of them are reaching out to reporters, more established media publications, using their contacts, which they know, in order to get you into a publication, or other ones which are new age influencers like myself. For example, I'm always having people pitch me being like, dude, can I come on your podcast? I would love to come on your podcast. Sal, can you feature me on your YouTube channel? This is literally like every single week. I get pitched by different people, mainly from PR agencies that are interested on getting it to my outlets. So this same thing happens where if you're hiring a PR agency, they're engaging in what's called direct outreach. So they're either directly outreaching to local reporters or even larger publications, to different media outlets. They're reaching out maybe to influencers. They're trying to get you on a podcast, etc. Depends on what the strategy is and what your goals are. But that's really the next way in which stories are written, is usually from direct outreach and someone actually enabling and helping to create that story and getting that journalist or that reporter to write about it. The next one, and this is kind of a blended approach, I would say, between influencers and media publications. And this is really when it comes down to product and service reviews, okay? So this is a little bit sneaky, okay? And I'm telling you that most people in the PR world that know how to game the system, that really understand what's happening behind the scenes, are a little bit sneaky, just being honest here. So for example, let's just say that you run a restaurant in a local area, okay? And you decide to engage a PR agency, or you decide even with your own strategy to get an influencer to review the top 10 restaurants in Miami, and maybe as well decide to include you in that particular list and to review that as you being a new restaurant. So you're kind of seeding the idea when it comes to the content, right? And you're being included in that list, and your business is benefiting from an article like that going out, right? And what that does is it gives you a heck of a lot of credibility, but it also sends you traffic. So this is what I call like a review style article or a review style piece, where people are either reviewing your specific product or service, or they're including you with other people where they're kind of evaluating and reviewing that and maybe doing a piece on an overall topic that's related to your core business. Another example of that, because I do think that's a little bit more confusing, would be a reporter publishing a piece on the top 10 gadgets which you must absolutely own or must buy for your spouse this upcoming Christmas. And you decide to insert yourself into that article as one of those. So it's different in that the piece is not only necessarily about you, but it's likely reviewing your product or service in some way. Sometimes you do have that poll where you can actually get a complete review of your product or your service if it's unique or it's standing standing out in some way. But nonetheless, that's the next story type, which is a review of some kind and being included in that publication or that piece. So we're getting to the point where you're like, Sal, just tell me, how do I get a media publication to write me? How do I get a media hit? So to really condense all of this, to keep it simple, silly, right? Keep it simple. That's something my dad would always say, KISS, keep it simple, silly, right? In order to condense all of this, I would say that you need to pick one of these strategies and also the tactics that go behind that strategy and implement and really decide which one you're gonna go down, or if you have enough manpower, you have enough resources to go down multiple of those strategies. So depending on what kind of goals you have and objectives you have, I can't really talk to that. But what I can say is that you still feel like there's a gap between what you know now and what you need to do in order to get media hits. I have a great free course out there for you, which shares with you not only how to put together a press release and how to put together things like a media kit and how do you actually discover different angles of the story and some of the tried and true practices for actually getting in the media, but also how do you get media hits, credibility, coverage, all the things that go into really having a successful PR campaign that's happening. And if you want to check that out, you can go and check that out at the link down below at crowdcrux.com/PR. Literally, you just got to put in your name and email. It's 100% free. Just enter your name and email and you can join my free PR course, which is great for crowdfunding campaigns, great for new product launches, or great for businesses and services that just want to get PR attention. So go and check that out again at the link down below. In addition, if you are doing something like a product launch or a Kickstarter campaign, I have a great book out there as well called the Kickstarter Launch Formula, which is available on Audible, available via Amazon. I talk a lot about PR as well in this book. If you want to learn more, you really want to get the textbook or you want to get the guide, the paint by numbers formula that goes into something like a product launch on Kickstarter, you can go and check that out in my book, The Kickstarter Launch Formula, which I will also link up down below. Education and action go hand in hand. So if you do nothing else, take action this week. Really sink your teeth into some of this material, but also use this as sort of an impetus or as a reason to go out there and take some action, whether that's just even drafting up a press release, getting together some major components or the type of strategy that you want to use and employ when it comes to your business to get media hits. Take a little bit of action, and that way you'll make sure that you're actually making progress towards your goals. And I would say that's the biggest thing that separates my community from everyone else out there on YouTube. Every other community out there is just talk, but they're not any action. My community takes action. So if you resonate with that, number one, subscribe to this channel, give me a thumbs up. Hope you enjoyed this video. Again, my name is Salvador Brigman, and I will see you next time.